We'll open with prayer, and I'm going to ask Greg to do it.
Let's pray. Lord, we just come to you and we thank you, God, for all your blessings. You have blessed us all. Thank you for our county and our great county we live in. And I'm thankful for the people in this room, because I really believe all of us want to do what's right for our county and improve it the best that we can. I pray, Lord, for all of our elected officials. I pray, Lord, that you would give us wisdom as we make decisions, and that we'd always look to you for guidance in all that we do. I thank you, God, for this great country we live in. I pray for all of our leaders on the state level, the national level. I pray, Lord, that we'd all seek you and put you first. Lord, bless this meeting. I pray, Lord, that it would honor you. Keep us safe, Lord, and we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Judge Reed, you want to lead us into the pledge? Flag. Just set it out there, brother. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have a guest with us tonight, running the state school board, so Bradford, you got the floor.
Okay, well, thank you. I don't know where y'all want me to stand. I guess I'll stand over here. This work? Okay. Well, my name is CATHI Bradford. I am candidate for State Board of Education District 6. District 6 covers Blount, Pullman, Cherokee, Calhoun, Etowah, St. Clair, Marshall, and Talladega, 8 counties. So it's a very large district. I want you to pause for just a minute, because I've heard this while I've been out speaking to people, that it's just a Board of Education position. And I want you to kind of, it's not the glamorous position like running for governor, and it's not a glamorous position running for a Senate position, or, in our House at the legislature. But I want you to think just for a minute rewind back to like 2019, 2020, and all of the riots that we saw taking place across this country. And so I want to link that, and I think we can all do this. You can draw a direct line between that and what's happened in our schools. So those riots, the people out there, the kids out there, they were young people. And it's because of what's going on in our school systems. So I want you to think this evening that it's not just Board of Education, that it's our next generation that we really need to make sure we get on the right course. So just a little bit about myself. I am a retired veteran. I served 23 years in the United States Air Force and the Air Force Reserves. I also serve on several different committees I'm from Pullman County. I am the treasurer of the Pullman County Republican Party. I am the president of the Pullman County Republican Women's Group. I also serve for over 10 years now on the Hansville Housing Authority Board and on the Hansville Library Board. So I'm very active in my community. And to top it all off, 26 years I've been a classroom teacher. So those are my qualifications. My platform is simple. It's back to basics, back to a focus on classroom instruction, and back to instilling patriotism in our kids. So first, with back to basics. So one of the most important jobs our state school board and our local school board members have is to ensure that our curriculum and our textbooks reflect Alabama's conservative values. Not woke ideologies, not history that leaves out important facts, and certainly doesn't contain any kind of sexual content. So as your next elected state school board member, I'll work tirelessly to ensure that our textbooks and curriculum reflect your values. Next, we need to go back to, and I know this personally as a classroom teacher, we need to make sure that we protect teaching time in our classrooms for our teachers. Today, our focus, I shouldn't say our focus, but we need to go back to focus on education in our classrooms, not state-mandated mental health programs. Now, I understand that there are problems out there in the world, but me, for example, I went to school to teach history, and I'm being tasked these days to teach subjects ranging from anger management to sexual abuse in my classroom. I'm not an expert in those fields. And so I say, let our teachers teach, let the counselors counsel. Our schools should be gateways to mental health services and not the providers of it. And lastly, we need to go back to a focus on instilling patriotism in our children. That's why I think we saw what we saw when the 2019 and 2020 riots. Our kids need to learn to love our country. As someone who served in the military for over 2 decades, I learned the importance of our young people learning respect, responsibility, and to love this great country that we live in. And so folks, as your next elected state school board member, I say we bring Alabama's classrooms back to their intended purpose, and that's to educate. And in doing so, we'll bring Alabama's kids into their bright futures. I'm CATHI Bradford. I'm running for State Board of Education District 6, and I appreciate your vote on May 19th. Do you have any questions? Any questions?
School board, ex-school board.
Well, I'll tell you,
Yes,
being on the
sir.
school board is very important.
I'm sorry?
I served on the school board for 20 years. It's very important. It's an important role in our state, so it is a very, you got the most trusted, prized possession in your own.
Right.
I appreciate folks that serve and are willing to serve.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate that. You know, right now, our state school board is trying to decide on a social studies curriculum. And they've got, they have several textbook companies that have come in and brought their textbooks in for the state school board to review. And several of our state school board members don't want any of them. Like, they feel that none of the textbooks belong in Alabama's classrooms. So it's a very important position for sure, because like I said, you saw what happened back several years ago, and it's a direct reflection of what we're putting out in the classroom. So I would appreciate your vote on that. Tell everybody about it. All right, thank you. I appreciate the time. Any other questions?
Well, I was asking something,
Yes,
as a
sir.
teacher and on the school board, if at all, how much of an hindrance is it to have to teach Spanish as a second language, having students that don't know English as their first language?
Yeah, it's tough. I'm not a Coleman County, and you know, of course, just in one school, that there are kids in my school that don't speak a lot of English. There are a few that don't speak much at all. One of the things I think I would have to look at as the next state school board member is, I guess I would say funding students that are supposed to be here. Before I say on that, I think there's a lot of funding that's being placed in areas where it probably shouldn't be, and I think that we really need to make sure that we have this on to those kids. I mean, I don't want to take away from our citizens and find people that really have to come out legally. As far as you know. Yes, sir.
Do you have any
So as far as students, we don't have anybody that doesn't speak English or Spanish. We have in the past, but no, our kids in our school, I'm actually speaking in my school right now, they speak either English or Spanish. Yeah, but we have had other languages, not very many, but we've had several years ago we had a student that spoke Chinese. Yeah, sure enough. Any other questions? Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
The reason I asked that question, I know.
Yes, sir.
I get the money. I was in Costco.
Right.
And I heard about 3 languages.
That's right. I believe that. I do believe it. Well, hopefully President Trump's turning around this immigration thing so that we can get back on track. Any other questions?
What school do you teach at now?
I'm at Hansel Middle. I've been there almost 20 years. Yes, sir. I lived in Hansel almost 20 years. My husband grew up in Hansel. That's where he's from. We met in the military. Anything else?
What are your thoughts on, I know a lot of kids now are moving toward homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts on why they're doing that? And what is there anything the state board could do to maybe make the public schools more attractive for them rather than sending them to, than parents do the homeschool and everything?
Yeah, so, they passed the CHOOSE Act, and the CHOOSE Act causes the state funding, which is about $7,000, a little over $7,000 per student. It follows the student to whichever private or home, well, now the homeschool kids only get $2,000. But if they go to a private school, that $7,000 follows them, and they set up education savings accounts, ESAs. And the money's not just given to the parent, but it goes, basically they have like almost like a debit card kind of thing, but it has to be, the school has to be on an approved list from the state. And the money is funneled from the state directly to the school. But how do we keep kids in our public school system? Well, I'll be honest with you, I'm a capitalist, and I think competition's a good thing. I believe that parents should direct the education of their children, and so if they think homeschooling or private schooling is the right thing for their child, then I think that's their choice, 100%. But I also believe that maybe that will sharpen public education here a little bit to hopefully step up to the plate a little bit more. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Do you feel like you're talking about those kids that are being homeschooled? And this is what I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think back to my student Brody Bush a long time ago.
Right.
Very long time. But anyway, I feel like personally, what I went through going through high school, that those kids come to this.
Right. Yeah, I see that even, and I guess I'd have to look into it. I even see that now when we go to pep rallies. There's the 12th grade and the 11th grade, they're missing, they're not there because they're at good things. They're, taking dual enrollment classes, or they're at the Career Tech Center. But I do understand what you're saying, because they're missing out on that camaraderie and that spirit that we all experience. Yeah, I know, I agree.
I went out.
Don't.
63 years,
Right?
and our price still meets one quarter.
Yeah.
Now, I've been homeschooled,
Mm-hmm.
That's been something I've been missing.
Right, yeah, no, I agree with you there for sure. I know they have, for example, there's a couple of kids I know personally in Coleman County that even though they're homeschooled, they participate in some athletics and even in some schools, in the some classes in the public school setting. So I know there's definitely a bridge there, but yeah, even I looked at the whole school spirit thing, and I feel like the kids are missing out on that. It would be nice if we could do something to try to build that up again. It's a good question. I'll have to think about that one. I appreciate the question, because I do see it. I see it like I did our pep rallies, and the whole 11th and 12th grade section they're missing.
Older you get, you're free at home.
I know, I'm seeing it. I understand, yeah. Yes, sir.
And you as an educator now, I guess.
Yeah, I'll be retiring this year. Yes, sir.
I see that a lot of kids that come into our public schools now are coming from home situations that, to say, are challenged is putting it mildly.
Right.
So how is your feeling, what is your outlook on addressing those issues? And I think they're more prevalent today than they were 10, 20, and certainly 30 years ago. Just for example, our foster parent system, and if it weren't for grandparents and sometimes great grandparents, the foster system would explode.
Right.
But how do you see the school's role in trying to help maybe fill some of those gaps where the kids come from very challenged home situations that didn't exist years ago?
Yeah, well, I do kind of feel strongly about that one also. Like I said, there's a fine line in our schools right now where the teachers are really having to teach a lot of mental health programs. And it definitely speaks to exactly what you're talking about, because we have a lot of kids coming to the schools that have a tough home life. I think that there should be more outside organizations, and this is me thinking out loud, but the schools need to partner with more outside organizations, because they're relying on the teachers to to make that bridge, which as a teacher, you know, back in the old days, a teacher is supposed to be, you know, the upstanding person in the classroom and the community, and the kids would look to them and look to their character and their morals and the things they stood for, which hopefully that's still what our teachers are doing, right? But we're not there to raise the kids. But it's a struggle because you're right, the kids are coming to us not prepared for them. I really think we need to partner with more outside organizations, with the experts, because the teachers aren't the experts. We try, we do all that we can, but when we're doing those things, we're not doing what we went to school to do, which, you know, like I said, I'm at school to teach English and history. So that's my area of expertise, and sometimes when I'm teaching in some of those other subject areas that I mentioned, the mental health areas, I'm uncomfortable because it's outside of my area of expertise. So I think really probably partnering with other organizations outside to try to bridge that gap for sure. Yeah. Yes,
Kathy, can you talk about reading scores and what you have seen happening with reading scores and what the trend is with that?
So I know overall, I've looked at it a little bit, and overall, and our state board of education is touting, and it's partly true that their math scores and their reading scores are up this last year. You can see that they're up. But what a lot of people are unaware of is that just a few years ago, a law was passed where if the third graders weren't on grade level to read, that they were going to be held back. And so that same year, our state board lowered the reading cut score so that the percentages of the kids that had to be held back weren't as high. And a lot of people, I don't think, were aware of that. Now, since then, they've raised the cut score. I can't remember if they've raised it once or twice, but it's still not back to where it's supposed to be. And my question to them back then was, if I'm passing a kid from the third grade to the fourth grade that doesn't read at a third grade level, when's he going to catch up? They don't. What are they going to do? They're not going to catch up in fourth grade. The reason that third grade is the line in the sand moment is because they say from kindergarten to third grade, you're learning to read. And then after third grade, you're reading to learn. And so how do those kids ever catch up? And I feel like, you know, maybe we need to be honest and take a hit, and maybe those kids do need to be retained because they're never catching up. They're going to struggle in fourth grade and fifth grade and sixth grade, and that's what we see. That's exactly what we see. Like, I teach sixth grade, and we have sixth graders that are nowhere near sixth grade reading level. But they keep getting passed along. So there's a lot of things. I keep telling people that there's a lot of things.
I want to jump in just a second. This is my 30th year. I teach in second grade, like with the state mandated test for the Literacy Act. And one thing, as teaching throughout the years, you know, has changed so much. And the kids are required so much to use Chromebooks. And all of the testing, mostly from the state, is through technology.
Right.
So like my second graders are required to type an essay on a Chromebook. And it's so, it's just not age appropriate. You know, it says cite evidence from the text, use capital letters and punctuation where needed, you know, a well thought out essay. Second graders are not ready for that.
Right.
And those scores reflect that sometimes,
Right.
where you've got that cut score, but it's hard for second graders to even meet some of that because it's so inappropriate. So I have a lot of mixed feelings about those kind of testing within the school, just because it's changed so much over the year. And yes, I do see where kids need to be throughout, you know, and we do need to increase those scores, but at the same time, somebody from the state level needs to look at those tests, you know, because the way the wording is and the way they have to use the tools on the test is just not age appropriate. So those just my thoughts on something as a state school board member is something that should be addressed.
Yeah, that's a good point, because that's another thought I've had. So, you know, our course of study, which you know exactly what I'm talking about. So the teachers all have what's called a course of study, and then we have different standards that we have to hit every year. All the sixth graders are supposed to learn this standard, and all the second graders have to learn all these standards. Well, I'm sure I could ask you, how many standards do second graders have to learn? There's a lot. So let's take maybe our curriculum, which is still in fact Common Core, they just don't call it that anymore. But let's take our curriculum with this broad course of study standards. Why don't we narrow it down and go deeper into those? I had, several years ago, my superintendent took all the teachers in Pullman County. We visited the different businesses in the county. And the business that I was assigned to go to was Walmart Distribution Center. And so while we were there, I asked the gentleman, I said, what can we do in our schools to prepare them to work for you? And you know what he told me? I'll never forget it. He said, teach them to show up to work every day. He said, teach them to multitask. Because they can't count what's on a pallet. And those are the basics that we're missing. So I feel like with this course of study is so broad, and that we're hitting so much, but the kids are never getting the depth that they need so that they're ready for that. And so that's another one of my focus items. That's kind of the back to basics, where let's take that course of study and let's shrink it down to those basic items and go deeper so the kids have been prepared for the following grade. Anything else? I could talk about education for everybody else. Sorry.
And take measure that multiplication.
Take measures. Yeah, I know, I hear you. Yeah,
We worked at the freight line, so we ran into that for years.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
only that, and I don't know how you think this, but when you said that, it made me think of an incident happened one time. We had this freight that was going to Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy loaded it on a trailer going to Hudson. So I go down there and say something to him, get up to him a little bit about doing it. He looked me straight in the eye and he said, buddy, I ain't got a clue what Montgomery is. This is a grown man.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, look it up on the Google Maps. That's the only way you know, right? Yeah, we have to teach them how to use the maps. We've got to teach them how to read the map, right? Well, I appreciate your time. May the 19th is the primary. I do have an opponent, so I would surely appreciate your vote on that day. Thank you. Happy Friday. None that I know of yet, but once I win the primary, we'll see what comes up in November, but I haven't heard of one yet. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. Greg, I know you don't have an opponent yet. You got anything you want to say? I know you're running, Chief.
I'm running, I'm not qualified. And I would love to have your support. I know everybody in here, I think all of you know me. I've been involved for a long time. And I hope that I've proven how much I care about the county. I feel like we've done a lot of great things in the county. I think right now our county is moving forward. We've got a lot of good things going on. I think in our office particularly, I think the things that we've been able to do is modernize. When I first went into office, we was on a green screen. It was F12 and F4 and all this kind of stuff. And we have totally been able to redo the whole inner workings of the office. And I think if you go around the state, they'll tell you we're one of the most proactive counties in the state of Alabama. And we've been able to, I'm an old school guy, but I like people to come see me and come talk to me and let's work it out. But the people that we're dealing with a lot of times want it online. They want it that way. And so we've been able to incorporate that. We can just about do about everything online except for buy. If you have and you can do that if you're really technically savvy. Just when you buy a vehicle and purchase it, you have to come in. A lot of the rest of it you can do online. You've got kiosks that's going out. I will say this: if you're here and you know a place we can put a kiosk at Hayden, I'm looking for one at Hayden. And I need one in Blount. And we're trying to find what I like to have in that is a place where they can be open extra hours. We've got them out now, and a lot of people can come in at 11 o'clock, buy their tag, and we're not open at night or whatever time, or 5 in the morning, they're going to work, they purchase their tag if everything's correct in that kiosk, and they get the tag to come out right there. The only time that don't work is if you have to have a new metal tag. We'll have to mail that to you. You have to do that through the mail. Through the kiosk, you can renew your tag and get your sticker if everything's right on the insurance and all that right there. And that's the things that we've been able to incorporate. The taxes in Blount County, I always told our people when we When I hire them, I said, let me tell you something. Nobody wants to pay taxes. Nobody wants to buy taxes. And you don't either. I said, and when we hired you, you didn't know what you needed till you went to work here. So when people come in, try to do your best to help them all that you can. I've always been this way. I put my personal cell phone that I pay for on my card. I hand them out. And I remember Chris Green told me when I done that, he said, Greg, you're crazy. They're going to call you all the time. Well, I'm going to tell you when they call, what they need. And I try to answer the phone call. If you call me, I'm going to call you back. If you reach out to me, I'm going to answer the phone. And it's a privilege and an honor to do what we do. It's an important job. Let me tell you something. Being the revenue commissioner is very important. We have a lot of money. It's very vital to our county. We don't have a lot of industry. And we don't have a lot of that kind of stuff. And I don't handle the tax as far as the sales tax. I've learned what we handle. But I'm telling you, what we do have is very important. I know these guys as commissioners tell you it's very important. At one time, we were the fourth lowest property taxes in the nation. I don't know where we are now. They haven't come after that lately. But we still have a lot lower taxes than most people, and I'm proud of that too. We do have a bill that's going out this time. David Standard is promoting that will allow, and I'm always for helping our senior citizens. I think there's two things we need to improve on. One, if you're over 65, you have an exemption. If your taxable income is $12,000 less. Well, that's been there for years. The income level is a whole lot higher now. It's still there. They're trying to raise that to help out our senior citizens. And he's trying to get a bill passed right now that would freeze all the assessed values of folks over 65. They wouldn't have an increase. And anyway, we can help senior citizens on that.
Is that only on the homestead or everything they got?
On homestead. Yeah, because a lot of people are 65, got plenty of money, got every kind of thing in the world, you know. But it's trying to really help through 65 people. It's neat. But anytime you need to call me, you feel free to. If we have a moment, we'll work as hard as we possibly can. And we got a great staff at the courthouse. I feel like everybody working together. And I appreciate your support. If anybody got a question, I'll answer.
I heard you deliver car tags to homes.
I'll tell you one thing. I got in trouble with the auditor on one thing. The auditor came in and said, I understand, and how they pulled this particular one, I don't know. But they pulled a thing and said, well, there was a check that was taken in a few hours after the transaction. I said, yeah, that's the revenue. And he said, well, why did that happen? I said, well, I had an 80-something-year-old lady tell me she couldn't make it to court. I don't know if I could bring her tag. I said, yeah. Take the check out for this, tell me the check number, I'll come get it, get your check, bring your tag, bring the check back. So I did that. I said, if you want to write me up and put me on Fox 6, you do that, but I'll do that every day. I get some time. So that's what we try to do. And if we can, we try to go extra. Anybody got a question? I'll answer.
Well, one thing you've done that we use almost daily is town hall.
That amount.
The mountain.
Yeah. And that's something that we've been trying to improve even more. The state gives us money to fly over. We use that money, we get grants from that and have to pay for it. Some of it, but I tell you, it's very important to municipalities, fire departments. It's very important to county commissions. It's very important to real estate people. It's very important to anybody that's looking to buy property to see all the values of it. And I'm not letting the cat out of the bag with it. We're going to improve that even more in the days to come. It's really made it a new level for people to be able to view our county and to be able to access where certain lines are. I will tell you this, those don't change as fast as I want them to, because sometimes it takes a rotation for that to come out. I think it's a big deal. And that's what I would do. I always want to be I feel like my job is to try to make it as easy for you as we can. And we've been able to do that with a lot of technology. And I'll say this, we were very fortunate, and I believe in prayer, but when we changed over to the new system, it was a leap of faith, because we were the guinea pig, and we got to create it with a company and to be, and the thing about that is, it costs you, Jimmy, from $250,000 to $400,000, all that stuff. We got for nothing, because we were guinea pig, we got to design it when we wanted to, and Ingenuity's come in, and now they're in about every county in the state of Alabama, they're the kingpin. And our folks that was in the office, our mappers and our appraisers, all our folks helped to design that. And now, probate's got on board, and so now you can, it ties it all together, you can go to probate, you can look up all deeds, you never could do that before, you purchase them, you don't even have to come to courthouse. And that's why we indicated for that, because I'll be honest with you, it was costing us a lot of money to pay for that old system. It was F4, F12, and green screen. We paid less on that after we got this new system than we were on the old system, and we got it for free. And every time we have a company or a county that comes to us and we encourage them to buy, we get a 10% discount. So that helps the county all the way.
I thought of something you probably remember out there a few years ago. And had that not been there, she was the one calling. You remember, we thought we had built a stage in somebody else's property. Way before your time, the same was like 1952. But some way in the system, it never got changed. The son who the property was bought from, found out to still pay the tax. So she called it and found out, and when we found out, I found them minutes in 1952.
That was before my time.
I didn't, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It does this system help iron out some of those
It
problems.
does, it helps us to catch a lot of it, but I'm gonna tell you this, I'm not a dummy, I tell you that we don't make mistakes, because you can key something in, it can be wrong, but I will tell you this, if we find it, we don't make a lot, but we do, if we find anything, we're gonna correct it. If you see anything, I want you to understand something, the process is great now. If we send you out a notice about the valuation of your property, you need to look at that and make sure that it's right, because if we don't have it right, then we have a process for you to bring it back for our Board of Equalization. Before it ever gets to the Board of Equalization, if there's an issue, we generally can fix it. And we don't have a lot of them. Birmingham will have hundreds and hundreds of Board of Equalization here. We don't ever have 2 or 3 most of the time. And most of that's over businesses, you know. But the process is, it's kind of hard not to figure it out, but what happens on those old ODs, we have no clue. If it was in that system, we're going with that, because we can't go back all the way.
Yeah,
back.
that's what I'm saying.
That's right,
But
it
had
does
that
have to
system
check.
not been there,
No.
that person would have continued to pay tax on that.
That's right. That's right. It helps the whole process. But I would say we're not, nobody, if anybody tells you they don't never make a mistake, that's not true. Everybody, you make a mistake.
And show you,
And I'll own it.
show you a liar.
That's right, that's right. That's right. Anybody else got a question? I will say it's an honor to serve. And if I get elected, we'll do it with all our heart. Till the bell rings, I promise.
How long have you been there?
15 years. I was elected, I've been elected every year since 1992. I served on the school board for 20 years. And that's an important position. And that was one of my favorite positions I ever served. So, it's been an honor. But I'm nearing the end. I'm nearing the end. I'm gonna tell you. Matter of fact, if the Lord don't lead me in a different direction, this will be my last time. And you'll be really good.
All right, thanks, Greg. Ellie, you got anything?
Chase, you
Jay, well, whoever wants to go first.
You go first, I'll follow you. From the old guy. Well, I've served since 2010, and it's been an honor. I'd like to talk about some of the stuff we've accomplished over the years. We bought the first storm shelter in town of Hayden. Done the St. Overlook Bridge down here. This here, with the help of all the commissioners, we built this with all outside dollars. We actually used some of our force county labor on the parking lots and stuff. But all of this was education money. Water State has a hand in it. The Board of Education has a hand in it, the county commission. Extension office, we're facility. Some of the other things, you know, I try to get about 20 miles of road in a year. If we try to stretch it any more than that, it just depletes our labor and our maintenance, and we give up some on the mowing and everything. But it's just been an honor to serve, and I won't do it again. And I'll say what Greg said. We got a really good core group at the courthouse now, that everybody's pulling the road in the same direction. It's joy to work with everybody, from the judges to all the judges, circuit clerk, and everybody in the commissioners. So it's a lot different than it used to be out there that way. Appreciate you, board.
My name is Chase Moore. I'm with the District 3 of the County Commission. I was appointed because now Chairman Harvey was the commissioner, and then he moved up. So well under the 1 year mark, we completed the bridge, fully destroyed it, built it back, and it was well under budget. I think that roughly around the number was around $140,000 to $150,000 under budget. We're very close to fully completing various part. We awarded a grant, I think it was around October. We got awarded the grant to do some work on County Road 12. I believe that grant was around $500,000. We repaved the roads over in Sherwin Lake. That was done by a grant. All this before the 1 year mark. And after we received the checks to go to the fire departments, and after visiting the fire departments, I ran into one of the firefighters, and he said, "Chase, I just want to let you know, we need help." I said, "What do you need?" He said, "Well, it's like this. The helicopter was being used at the helipad. The ambulance got stuck." He said, that takes time. That could have been a lot." I said, "I'll meet you out there." Met him out there. We looked at it. Within 2 weeks, we built a makeshift road from the entrance to the exit, and as far as to the helipad. We did it because it could save the person's life. It saves time, it could save the person's life, so therefore we did it, and we did it efficiently. All this, I'd say, before the 1 year mark, and we still got a lot more things to do. So I would appreciate y'all, District 3, I believe it's Facebook Live, is that correct? YouTube. Oh, YouTube. Yes, sir. Oh, even better. So I appreciate the votes from District 3 so that we can continue the hard work that we're doing. Because if we can do that much work within 1 year of taking office, imagine what we can do in 4 years. Thank y'all.
Brandon, you got anything?
I like to invite everybody to come see the chaos at the courthouse renovations right now. Well, yes, Judge, it's a mess right now. This will be better. Oh, definitely. I would like to thank the wisdom of the commissioners of Fort County Commissioner Armstrong, deciding to not build the courthouse and meeting.
We do pretty smart stuff.
But no, I think we're definitely on the right track financially, and it's compared to other counties from what I hear. We're well, we got small slots. something else to really congratulate, the former commissioners and current is now, what was the total loan that we took out right after moving Blount County?
10 million.
10 million, it was paid off.
7.5 years.
You know, it's a 10-year note that was paid off before. It was paid off now, 7.5.
So now it's got that money freed up. We're alternating years between rebuild Alabama and move Blount County forward. So 2 districts get 1 set of funds 1 year, 2 set of funds. We alternate, but all that money's freed up now to do projects on those roads. So that's a big boost, getting it paid off early.
County 1 and County 15. That was the first road since 2016, I think, is when that last.
No, I done Colwell. I just had to wait to get my reimbursement.
Okay. And another thing, a lot of counties don't do their own paving. And out of 67 counties, Blount County ranks 6th, is that correct? In amount of roads?
7.
7th, and amount of roads paved, mileage paved. I think that's just impressive, incredibly impressive.
And what, 27th largest county in the state now, that's correct. I think it's cool. Anything else? Judge, you got anything?
No, just proud to be able to serve the county. As Chairman said, we're in the midst of the second phase of the renovation project. If you haven't had a chance to come and see the renovated courtroom, we invite you by there. We've got, it is really a huge improvement, something that the court system is proud of. As Chairman said, we've got a lot of dust, but we're operating under the premise that you can't bake a cake unless you break an egg, so we're patient with that, but we know that the final outcome is going to be much more positive, make us more efficient. We've got an old building that has an old heating and air system, and bringing that into the 21st century is not easy. I would say I appreciate the county commission and their commitment to making these upgrades and taking this project on. Certainly was overdue, and appreciate their commitment to making these changes, and making innovations, seeing the value in it. You know, when folks come to the court system, they're not coming there when they're having the best day of their life. We see, we operate in that courtroom 4 days a week, and Fridays we have our accountability courts in that courtroom, and so it's used every day of the week. Some days it's over capacity, and some days it's not very many people in there, but there's a lot of activity that goes on in that area. So, just a privilege to serve, and we're proud of what we have, and what we're going to have, and proud of being so good.
Chad, you got anything?
No, sir, I don't have anything to say. I'd like to donate all my time to Judge Aldridge and give her.
All right, here you go.
You need a card?
Don't come to the election.
We've had some excitement this week. We've actually celebrated my 1 year anniversary as probate judge. And I'll be honest with you, Chad, I'm a little hurt there wasn't a cake here tonight. We didn't have a little celebration.
I'm gonna die, I'm sorry.
But no, it's going well. We have already started with the election calendar. Of course, that starts right out of the gate. And here in January, we're getting geared up for a really big election. So we're excited about that, or as excited as you can be about elections, right? Probate court is going very well. I've said this many times before, I'm surrounded by great ladies in that office, and they make me great. So I appreciate them, and will brag on them every chance I get. We sure are enjoying it, and thank you again for allowing me to serve as a probate judge.
All right.
One thing that Judge Aldridge and I, this week, the legislature, the House of Representatives passed House Bill 83, which is a bill that Judge former Judge Standards, the Representative Standards have sponsored for us. It will be on the ballot if it passes the Senate, which we expect it will, to grant Judge Aldridge equity powers for probate cases concurrent with the circuit court. That'll be a constitutional referendum that will be on the November ballot. So that was a positive aspect of what's happening this week.
Okay. Bradley, you're right, and you want to bring stuff on, if that's your case. I know that went to BEA.
Yeah, I was in Montgomery last week, myself and Chase on the legislative committee, met with several legislatures at our main office, ACCA. And right now, their plans is to do nothing. Most of the state legislatures want to leave it as is, and it's really all in the hands of the court, Tuscaloosa and the other big nine in the lawsuit now. But it's like 228 other municipalities that's joined in with us to fight during the lawsuit. So that's all. Of course, Tuscaloosa brought this on, the city of Tuscaloosa, and all the municipalities.
Democrats.
Yeah, all the municipalities inside Tuscaloosa County joined with ACCA to fight it off. So it'll be a big hit to all the small town cities that lose it.
Did Hoover join in with Tuscaloosa?
I think they did, yes.
They're Democrats too.
Yeah.
All right, that's kind of where it's at, just waiting on the court system.
Anybody got anything else? Not, I hear a motion to adjourn.
So,
And adjourn.